Kakadosh Boker Tov, we're just continuing with the Halachot of the Selichot. When Maran brings down Noagim Lakum Be'ashmoret, that it's a minhag to get up very early in order to say Selichot, here it's actually brought down in the Moreh Be'etzbav, the Rav Chida, he brings down as follows. He says a person should be very careful that it should not be that the person will lose out on his reward because he will sleep during the tefillah, which means that if a person is going to wake up, right, he has to try as much as possible that, okay, Chazak Baruch, Kol HaKavod, he woke up for Selichot, it's very, very early in the morning, but then that he shouldn't fall asleep during the tefillah. So he says especially that when he's going to be with talit and tefillin it's going to be asur, so therefore a person should actually be very, very careful. So he says, V'yoter tov shitpalel kara'ui me'asher lomar selichot be'ashkama be'ofen shekazeh. Says the Rav Chida, it's much more important to actually pray properly than to come and to wake up early, and then afterwards he's going to be falling asleep throughout the entire shachrit. So therefore it's very, very important, right, just to pay attention to that. Also, if a person cannot come and say Selichot before Shachrit, he could do it after Shachrit. He could even do it before Mincha. There's no problem whatsoever. And there's not even a problem of Tadir v'sheno Tadir. Obviously then, if we're doing it before Mincha, the Shliach Tzibur should put on a talit, right, when they're doing the Selichot. But he does say that for sure there's no question that there's no comparison to Selichot, which is going to be done Be'ashmoret, and Selichot, which is going to be done later on. Why? Because the Selichot, which is going to be done Be'ashmoret, it's a time of goodwill, it's a time of Et Ratzon, and therefore it's important in order that when we're going to come and we're going to say Selichot. What happens if a person wakes up and they have a choice? Right? Usually here this won't happen, but maybe it would happen in the second minyan. What happens if a person wakes up and he has a choice? It's either going to be that he's going to say Selichot, right? But then he misses Zman Kriyat Shema of Shachrit, Betzibur, right? When he's praying with Tzibur, we know the Lechat Techila, the best is to say Kriyat Shema with the Berachot during the proper time, which means there is a leniency that obviously if it's not going to be, that you can't do it, so therefore you do it beforehand, and that's what happens many times on Shabbatot or other things. But the most Lechat Techila is to say Kriyat Shema with the Berachot, Bizmana in the proper time. We know that Maran was actually posek like the Magen Avraham, which is the earlier time, not like the Gaon Mivilna and the Graz, which is the later time. So you have two different times of Kriyat Shema. So now you have a dilemma. You wake up late and now you have a choice. It's either going to be praying Tfilah Betzibur and then you miss the Selichot, or you'll do Selichot but then you miss the Kriyat Shema Bizmana, you'll have to do it later on. So he comes and he says in such a case, it's better to do the Shachrit and then afterwards the Selichot. So he says, right, and if not anyway, you should try to make the Selichot as early as possible to the Alot HaShachar, because the Ikar was to do it at Alot HaShachar. So that's going to be very, very important. The last halacha we'll mention is to do with the Chatzot. We know Lechat Techila, the person should only say Selichot after Chatzot. Saying it before Chatzot is actually a very, very big problem. There is, right, brought down in the halacha that if a person has a minyan before Chatzot, they should not attend that minyan. They shouldn't even go to that minyan because it's going to be a problem. Now the question is, what about us in Chutz Haaretz? If we wanted to say Selichot before Chatzot here, which is obviously after Chatzot in Eretz Yisrael. So Yalkut Yosef, Rav Yitzchak Yosef, based upon his father, he wants to be Mekel, right? And he just says if somebody does it, they have what to rely on. It's not that he's saying lechatchila, you should do it. But he comes and he says he wants to be mekel, that if you're doing it live with Eretz Yisrael, you could be lenient, meaning that you have what to rely on. So for example, let's say we're doing live services, that they have a selichot in one of these batei knesiot where you have hundreds of people and it's an incredible thing, and now you want to come and you want to participate. Now for us, it's before Chatzot Bichlal. So therefore it's going to be a problem, and it's after nighttime, remember, because if we're doing it during daytime, let's say we're doing it at 6 o'clock, right? So therefore it's still fine. Why? Because for us it's day, imanashach, for us it's day, and for them time it's nighttime and it's after Chatzot. So you have on both sides that you're going to be okay, because we're allowed to do Selichot during the day. You're not allowed to do Selichot during the nighttime before Chatzot. So therefore, but let's say it would be that it's already here after nighttime, which means it's after the Shekiah, and over there it's going to be after Chatzot, and now we want to listen live. There he says, Harotzeh, he says, if somebody wants to be Mekel, right, Yesh Lem Simuchim Ba'alacha, they have what to rely upon in halacha, and he says that they're allowed to do it. But a person should not switch around. What does that mean? To move around the seder, which means that a person shouldn't say, okay, fine, chatzot is going to be, let's say, at 1 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the portions of the selichot beforehand. And once it becomes 1 o'clock, I'm going to start doing all the vayavors, and then I'm going to start doing all the other parts. No. There you shouldn't start moving around, right? The different parts of the tefillah, the parts of the selichot should always be in the normal seder.